All right, so guys, in this video, we're gonna show you why multiple different types of chainsaw felling techniques is applicable for managing deer and your habitat on the property. Please subscribe to the channel to learn more information about these different types of techniques. Here, guys, is an example of a flowering dogwood that has been hinged several years ago. This area has had TSI done over the past 3 or 4 years, completed at different stages, but this tree has been hinged. We love to hinge the flowering dogwood. Obviously, it's got an incredible amount of growth. As we're looking across the entire spine, it had immediate cover as it was cut, laid over, and now ample food supply. Canopy was way up, brought it back down to where now it's applicable to deer. We got food, and here there's actually some shade component where a deer could lay underneath of it during the hot summer and enjoy that cool shaded area while still having a wind and breeze move through here. So a great job. But what if this was the only thing that we did? By hinge cutting all the species in here, will we get this result? No, not likely. And would we want this result? No, we really wouldn't. So let's go and show you another example of why we're choosing to use hinge cutting as well as flush cutting in other areas. So we're going to move down over here to a pocket that has had more flush cutting. So immediately when you get obviously right here into this opening, back behind me you can see a lush understory of diverse base forbs and other woody sprouts that have come back, in comparison to that dogwood where there was very little greenery underneath of that, because all that we did when we cut the flowering dogwood, we just lowered it. We just made the top, the canopy, closer to where a deer can forage, but there's still heavy shade, so we don't have another second growth and diversity. Whereas when you flush cut and really opened up the canopy, like back behind us, you're gonna see all that. So let's go take a look at that and find out what kind of diverse plants we're dealing with here. So here's an example. Here's dogwood that this was cut. It has resprouted, but since then a fire has come back through here and top killed it. So lots of resprouts coming back. That hinge cut, obviously the same place that had fire, but it didn't top kill anything. So we can manage our woody sprouts with fire and not have to go back in and do a chainsaw work again and again and again if we only used hinge cutting. So we've got Harrison black gum, grape, Virginia creeper, oak resprouts, desmodium right here. We've got blackberry. We've got quite a bit of sassafras coming back in here. But as we're stepping further into this unit, you can see burnweed, we can see additional blackberry over here, but the growth off the ground and the diversity that's right here where things were felled is quite a bit higher than just that single hinge cut area. So Adam, do you want to talk about that black gum over there in comparison to hinge cutting and why some species are more valuable to hinge cut versus others? Because this is quite a bit of different browse selectivity on this black gum.
Yeah, so this American black gum, which is a wonderful species, native species, but highly preferred woody browse, but is almost, I don't know if you'd find many trees of black gum that are ever used for timber. For this reason, even this smaller tree, we don't know how old it is, but it's already starting to be hollow. Those trees typically are hollow, so they're great for cavity nesters once they get big. But this one is a perfect scenario of a hinge cut that was executed almost perfectly. We have tons and tons of growth coming out of the stump at the almost ground level that, as you can observe, are being highly selected for browse, but it's also providing pretty good cover, especially if a deer were to bed right here close to this. And as you move up the stump or up the trunk, you'll notice that the browse pressure starts to go down because it's starting to get out of reach. And this is one of the problems we always find with hinge cutting is you can't really control those sprouts with fire. It's going to take a very severe fire to knock this amount of vegetation out, and that's providing shade. And you can look right there where the canopy is full, there's not as much vegetation growing as you find out in the area that Matt was standing just 5-10 yards over. So we executed it. We got great woody browse, which is, I mean, you can see the browse in it right now. So it's almost year-round forage. They typically forage on woody browse more during the winter months, but we're getting great forage, great cover. But if that was the only thing here, we'd be missing a huge benefit that could be gained just by some different techniques with a chainsaw.
The biggest thing to remember, we always preach, is diversity. You want plant species diversity, and your techniques should be diverse as well to get that expression from your landscape. We've got dogwoods, black gums, post oaks, black oaks, white oaks, all in here. All of them are going to have and be addressed differently based on the goals for this site. But diversity is key because, again, if we hinge cut that, we'd have a lot of shade on the ground, not nearly expression of green vegetation, raspberry, blackberry that you're seeing all back behind us. We have to have diverse techniques to get diverse results.
Yeah, it's not diversity with your, it's diversity with your plant communities, with the vegetation types, whether it be a herbaceous plant, a forb, a legume, or a woody browse, a bramble, a tree, a shrub, and then also height differences, height diversities, as well as just your diversity of cutting techniques.
I mean,
so
you can find,
if you find
benefits.
yourself doing the same thing over and over and over and over, you're missing the point.
You could find places in this 5-acre section that's been TSI that's perfect for fawns, perfect for turkey poults, perfect for nesting, perfect for late winter cover and food, because there's diversity here on this acre.
If you just listen, you can hear buzzing, you can hear singing of birds. We probably are talking too loud to jump up any deer. But
they'd
there's
be here.
pokeweed over there. I don't know if you pointed that out.
Nope,
but
sure didn't.
yeah, it looks awesome.